pharmacist at 2:30 in the morning?
Now that Payless is Rite Aid, you can talk to a pharmacist anytime. Just call 1-800-RITE-AID 24 hours a day. And remember, Rite Aid has the most 24-hour pharmacies in Oregon. So if the Rite Aid pharmacist recommends something you don't have, you can pick it up at a Rite Aid near you, even at 2:30 in the morning.
Thanks. I'll come pick it up right now. Well, honey, it's a good thing I called. I'll be back in half an hour. Why don't you go back to bed?
Switch to Rite Aid, the right choice for Oregon.
KXL, Portland, Vancouver, Salem. We're on it.
CBS News, I'm Paul James. 4 Cuban baseball players and their coach, who defected from Cuba 11 days ago, have been rescued at sea by a fishing boat. Sports agent Joe Cuba says they were taken to a nearby island.
They are in Ragged Island, which is an island on the southern tip of the Bahamas.
Cuba says he phoned the boat captain's wife for details.
I called that lady back in the Bahamas, and she confirmed to me that they were on the boat. She called on a radio to the boat, and I heard them. I heard the captain, I heard Toka, I heard Hova, and both of them said, "We're on our way to Ragged Island, please come and get us."
The coach and 4 players were banned from baseball in Cuba back in July because Cuban authorities suspected they would try to defect. 4 other Cubans were with them when they were rescued. There were unconfirmed reports yesterday that the group had surfaced in the Dominican Republic. Emergency management officials, insurance adjusters, and homeowners have been checking out the damage from yesterday's tornado in the Gainesville, Georgia area. At least 70 homes in the region were destroyed. Over 130 were damaged. Peter King has more.
Sundown brought an end to a long day of cleaning up in northeastern Georgia. Mark Scott was luckier than many.
The house is basically intact. It just looks like the movie Twister.
With debris strewn all over the place. The siding on his home is one indication of just how strong the storm was.
That siding's so hard you can hardly drive a nail through it without drilling a pilot hole before you hammer a nail in. And there's wood stuck through it.
Scott's family is using a wood stove for heat and a gas generator for electricity, refusing to give in to Mother Nature. Peter King, CBS News in North Hall County, Georgia.
In Stoneville, North Carolina. Bulldozers and chainsaws were at full throttle a day after a twister there tore up much of the downtown. The mayor says about 80% of the streets in town are impassable. 6 Americans have been arrested and jailed in Pristina, Serbia. Serbian authorities say they were arrested because they did not register with police. The 6 are with the San Francisco-based aid organization Peace Workers. Spokesperson Susan Schwartz.
We have been in contact with the U.S. State Department in Belgrade, and they are working on it. They assure us, and they have assured us that the prisons that they are in are humane.
The Americans have been told they will serve 10 days in jail. President Clinton took part in a 10-city video teleconference today on Social Security. The president said making modest changes now would have a huge impact on the future. He also said we have to educate people that they must save more money for retirement. North Carolina beats Connecticut to win the East Regional Final of the NCAA basketball tournament 75-64. North Carolina will face Utah in the semifinals. This is CBS News.
Success is not a lucky break. It's not a right. Success is a choice.
And no one knows as much about success on and off the court as Boston Celtics head coach Rick Pitino. Now, join the thousands who've chosen Pitino as their personal coach. And success is a choice. 10 steps to overachieving in business and life. Pitino shows you how to thrive under pressure and exceed your own potential. Success is a choice. The New York Times bestseller by Rick Pitino with Bill Reynolds. Now in paperback from Broadway Books. Choose success today.
I'm working to keep my cholesterol down, but I'm only human. If I slip up, how can I find out if I'm still on track?
With Cholestrac Home Cholesterol Test, it's fast, easy, and as accurate as a lab test. You wouldn't try to lose weight without a scale, so why would you try to lower your cholesterol without Cholestrac to track your progress?
Keep your cholesterol program on track with Cholestrac Home Cholesterol Test. Available at fine pharmacies. Cholestrac. Get on track toward a healthier life.
Now, from our 24-hour news center. Total team coverage of the top local stories. KXL News Radio 750. We're on it.
A Tacoma man convicted of forcing a 16-year-old girl into prostitution has been sentenced to 10 years in prison. 29-year-old Brian Davis was sentenced yesterday in Portland. He was found guilty of 45 counts of compelling prostitution and 15 counts of contributing to the sexual delinquency of a minor. The girl, now 17, has returned to her parents in Tacoma. She and Davis were arrested in Portland. Scholarships based solely on race will no longer be available from Oregon's public universities. State officials will modify a $2 million a year program of minority scholarships under pressure from the federal government. KXL News Time, 5:05. Time for KXL traffic and weather together. A busy day on the roads. Linda, has it cleared out?
Well, it is getting better. Traffic improving I-205 at Johnson Creek and Stafford Road after earlier delays. And still slow, though, 205 northbound in Vancouver, about a half mile south of SR 500 due to an earlier gravel spill when a dump truck overturned. This check on traffic is a service of the Washington State Lottery. The lottery offers a number of different games to play and win. Choose from Lotto, Daily Keno, Quinto, the Daily Game, and various scratch games. Good luck, Washington. I'm Linda Evans. Now team coverage continues with a look at the KXL weather track forecast.
And the rain continues for tonight. A low of 45, clouds in periods of rain tomorrow, the high 60. Temperatures and conditions around the region: in Eugene, light rain in 52, Salem rain in 54, Portland and Vancouver, light rain in 52. With news on the hour, half hour, and when it breaks, I'm Barbara Foyt on your news, traffic, and weather station, KXL News Radio 750. We're on it.
You got your 3-bean vegetable chili. You got your green chili with pork. You got your Badlands buffalo chili. Oh, you got your chain gang chili. But you haven't got one lick of heartburn because you took your Axid AR. Gets to work so fast it can stop your heartburn before it even begins. Hey, you ever tried chili poured into a bag of corn chips? Whew, that's a highway. Axid AR for heartburn. Bring on the real food.
Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
Oh, to a cold sore. This morning when I caught my reflection, I saw a great big imperfection. An ugly cold sore looked back at me, a pox of painful misery. But then I heard there's something specific made just for cold sores, and it's terrific. Stops pain fast, protects the sore. Ambisol cold sore therapy. Who could ask for more? It's the only one with aloe and vitamin E. You'll love Ambisol cold sore therapy. Put it on. The pain is gone. Use only as directed.
Real Talk Radio with Bob Brinker and Money Talk on KXL News Radio 750.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to Money Talk. Often copied, never duplicated. Bob Brinker along with you, and we are cruising across North America, accepting your calls on the toll-free line, 1-800-934-2221. Heading out to that promised land of personal financial nirvana, we call it the land of critical mass. Hope you can join us and cruise along with us. We would like to hear from you right here on America's Money Program, Money Talk. You probably know how high I am on term life insurance, but did you know that lately prices on term have dropped to the lowest in years? That means if you bought a while ago, you may be paying too much. Or if you never bought, now's the time. All it takes is a free phone call to SelectQuote. SelectQuote searches the pick of America's top life insurance companies. Then they send you a choice of their 5 best prices for you. Take a man, 37, non-smoker. He can get a $200,000 policy through SelectQuote for under $19 a month. There's no pressure. It's all free. So give SelectQuote a call. 1-800-556-8400. Ask for your free price comparison. That's 1-800-556-8400.
Policy is CNA via Term 10, Form V110-84A, underwritten by Valley Forge Life, Nashville, Tennessee, and is medically underwritten. Available in most states.
Successful single male looking for long-term relationship with a special soulmate. I'm an intelligent, risk-taking professional, seeking the same in a mutual fund.
There's a better way to find the perfect mutual fund for you. Introducing the E-Trade Mutual Fund Center. We not only offer 3,000 funds, we give you special screening tools to help you find the right one, matching your long-term and short-term strategies, your risk profile. And while you find the one with your name on it, you won't find any with our name on it. We're completely unbiased, so we encourage you to buy what's best for you, not what's best for us. The E-Trade Mutual Fund Center. Check it out at www.etrade.com or call for more information at 1-800-E-TRADE-1. E-Trade. Someday we'll all invest this way.
Fund prospectuses contain more complete information, including charges and expenses. Read carefully before investing.
We are back on Money Talk. 1-800-934-2221 is our contact number on the program. And, of course, some investors thought that the Asian problem would contribute to some earnings weakness, and that earnings weakness would then show up in the market. But, of course, that's not the way it worked out. There has been some earnings weakness in individual companies, but not so much in the overall market. Overall market, like the S&P 500, came in about 46.80 for 1997, which is just essentially in line with our $47 estimate. And it looks like the number in 1998 is headed for at least a gain of about 5%, which would put it up around $49 for the S&P. And, of course, in the absence of recession, we can start to take a look at 1999, and certainly there's no recession visible at this juncture. And if we can sustain that forecast into 1999, that would open up the possibility that we could be looking at higher earnings growth in 1999 than we get in 1998. And the reason for that is we should expect some reinvigoration of the global economy as Asia traverses its difficulties through 1998 and moves on into 99, making a transition to what should be better times, even in Asia by next year, to some extent at least. So that could suggest you could see greater growth in earnings in the S&P 500 in 1999 than you saw in 1998. And if that were to happen, and you were to have an excellent earnings number for 1999, then you could get yourself into a situation where you could do extremely well. Garrett's on the line in Chicagoland. Hello, Garrett.
Yeah, hi. I just got the market timer for the first time, and I noticed that I was surprised that the Vanguard total market is not in there anywhere in one of the...
Which issue do you have?
It is March.
Yeah. Well, there is a portfolio on page 7 which has 100% of its United States investments in that total stock market fund, all of it. We've used that fund for all U.S. investments for our passive active portfolio.
Passive active portfolio, okay. I wasn't in one of the model portfolios, is I guess what I was thinking of.
Well, actually, the passive active portfolio serves essentially as model portfolio 4.
Oh, okay. And who is that recommended for? Because
well, that would be recommended for those that are looking for long-term growth. That would be an objective that would be similar to model portfolio 2, which is a long-term growth objective. I believe it's stated right there that it is a long-term growth portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in the early 40s and still earning under 6 figures, but in a good field, and just thinking of either 1 or 2 as the portfolio.
Yeah, I would say in that case you could use 1 or 2 or the active passive. I certainly think the active passive is an excellent choice as well.
Okay. Right. So they're all performing about as well over the last few years?
Well, the active passive in 1997 led the way, and the reason is the total stock market index fund had a 31% gain.
Right.
In 1997, so that was just a breakaway gain.
Fund managers.
Well, as I've said on the program, ad nauseum, they have a really hard time keeping up with that kind of performance. Thanks for the call. We have Don. Hello, Don.
Bob?
Hi, Don. It's your turn.
Fine show.
Thank you.
I got a question to ask you about that Roth IRA. I checked with my tax man over the week, and I got 60,000 in a standard, and I was thinking about converting it to a Roth. That's about 15,000 a year. Right?
Yeah, what's your tax bracket, your marginal bracket?
Okay, it's 28, but that's going to put me into 31.
Well, how about Connecticut? They want something.
You're right. In other words, it'd be like $4,500 a year to the federal government, and about $5 to Connecticut.
So you're talking about $5,000 a year, and you're talking about a $20,000 hit.
Yeah, just
on a $60,000 account. You're talking about giving away a third of your money.
Yeah, so
I have a problem with that. I do.
You know, I don't think that this Roth conversion is really it's really tax friendly, is it?
No, well, we never have said that it was. I agree with you. I think what we've said is take a really hard look before you jump into a Roth conversion. Now, if you're talking about opening a Roth IRA, that borders on a no-brainer for a lot of people. Well, you know, with new money. But if you're talking about a conversion, what you're talking about is you're violating the rule: never pay a tax today that you can postpone till tomorrow.
Well, let me ask you this. Can I start a Roth and not contribute any more to my traditional? And just
Absolutely. Absolutely, I would do that.
You
can do that. You can do that. If you haven't made your 97, you can even do it for 97 till the 15th of April.
Well, won't I be paying like a maintenance fee, like a double maintenance fee for both?
Well, that depends. You can go to a lot of places now where you can get an IRA account without a fee.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, you can shop around on that. That might be a very minor consideration, by the way.
Or the double maintenance fee?
Well, yeah, that might be a really tiny consideration against the tax ramifications. But I would go with for the new money, I'd go with the Roth, but I'd do a lot of arithmetic before I triggered that $20,000 tax bill.
I know, exactly, yeah.
I think, my personal opinion, I think for a lot of people on the conversion, I think it's a trap.
You know, I was thinking the same thing because I was asking my tax man, who's going to be getting this $4,500? Well, the federal government.
Well, that's right. I think Uncle Sam is springing a trap here for unsophisticated investors to try to bring in some new tax money.
Absolutely. Well, one final thing, Bob. You know, the way it looks like I'm going to be retiring, and I may not be retiring soon. I'm only 46, but when I do retire, it's going to seem, according to what my investment consultant said, that I might have some estate problems because I'm single and
That's what you want. That's exactly what you want, Don.
Estate problems.
You want estate problems and you want tax problems because that means you're doing extremely well.
I forgot
the people with estate problems and tax problems are the people who are doing extremely well. You can resolve those problems. You can work out programs to resolve those problems, but first you want to get those problems.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Don. And of course, over the next 10 years, they're changing the law, even for a single investor, where you could leave up to $1 million. Over the next 10 years, it'll be up to $1 million. You could leave that much without federal estate taxes. So, the estate, although I don't think you should be taxed for dying, I don't understand that at all, and I think they should throw it out. The reality is, you will be able to protect up to $1 million as a single individual within the next 10 years. More to come. If you'd like to join us, you can dial in at 1-800-934-2221. We'll beam you up to the Starship Money Talk.
Maybe it's something in the water. Maybe it's the thin air of the altitude. Or maybe it's a bad case of spring fever. But whatever it is, it's driving people nuts. It's Meadows Madness at Mount Hood Meadows, presented by your Portland Metro Toyota dealers. This zany annual celebration is full of insane activities and loony contests with prizes galore. Plus, $30 discount lift tickets and $30 learn to ski or snowboard packages are available at the mountain. Best of all, your Portland Metro Toyota dealers have put together special savings on their most popular models that'll help get you to the hottest ski party in the Northwest in style. So maybe it's the fun, maybe it's the great skiing, maybe it's the $30 lift tickets, or maybe it's the big Toyota savings. But one thing's for sure, you'd be crazy to miss Meadows Madness. Everyday people.
Ed Huber, President Shoe Mill Stores.
Well, when I relate to Standard TV and Appliance, I relate based on the way that we operate a business, and I like the way Standard does business. They present a wide selection of quality merchandise, and they present that merchandise to you by a knowledgeable sales staff that understands the product completely.
Jim Woodhouse, President Beard Frame Shop.
With any business, you have to provide overwhelming value. So whether it be custom picture framing or buying appliances, I think there's got to be a tremendous amount of similarities. Whenever I go into standard TV and appliance, I feel like I'm being taken care of by people who care about me today and will care about me in my subsequent shopping.
Bill Gander, owner, Standard TV and Appliance.
Since 1947, your family-owned, Portland-based TV and appliance dealer, Standard TV and Appliance, committed to your total satisfaction.
The best prices, selection, and service. Standard TV and Appliance on Southeast 82nd, 2 blocks north of Foster.
Travel back in time as Norman Layden presents a spectacular tribute to the big band sound, Sunday, March 29th at 3 and 8 p.m. at the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall. Oregon's own Norman Layden, a member of the Glenn Miller Army Air Force Band, will lead his big band in a program featuring such great hits as Moonlight Serenade, Pennsylvania 65000, and In the Mood, as well as all-time favorites from band leaders Duke Ellington and Benny Goodman. Tickets for big band hits are going fast and are on sale now at all Ticketmaster outlets or by calling the Oregon Symphony at 228-1353. That's Norman Layden's Big Band Hits, Sunday, March 29th at 3 and 8 p.m. at the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall. Call the Oregon Symphony at 228-1353 for tickets. The Oregon Symphony, 101 years of music for everyone. Sponsored by Texaco. The following was recorded for airing at this time.
We're back in Money Talk. 1-800-934-2221 is our contact number on the program. And, of course, we would like to hear from you. Calvin's with us in Oakland. Hello, Calvin.
Hello.
Hiya.
Yes, I'm a new listener, and I've heard you discuss, about investing in the total market index. And I just wanted to see what your thoughts was on investing in the Ridex Nova Fund.
Well, that's essentially a leverage play on the S&P 500. So that's obviously a personal choice that somebody has to make as to whether they want to invest in a leveraged play. As a general rule on the program, we do not emphasize leverage.
Okay, because I've looked at on the Morningstar that that it's a five-star fund.
Yeah. As long as you're right on the direction of the market, you should do very well in that fund. That fund generally acts roughly 50% in excess, of course, minus expenses, of the 500. Now, the 500's up 135%. 135% for the last 3 years in the 500 index fund. And if you take the fund you mentioned, that's up 191. 191 divided by 135, it's done about 141%, about 41% better than the 500. And it's done that after expenses by leveraging into the 500.
Right. Okay, so then you that's something that you would not say that it's a bad investment per se then?
I would say that if you're right on your market direction, you'll do well in that fund.
Well, but let's say that I listened, definitely I listen to your program, and when there's a buy signal, at that time, I would, let's say, exchange into the URSA fund.
Well, you can do better than that. If you want to use leverage, and I don't generally recommend it. We have callers to the program that bought the spiders in January at 91 on margin. So they got more leverage than you're getting in that fund. They got double leverage because they could buy it at 50 cents on the dollar.
Oh, no, this is my IRA.
Oh, okay, we can't do it in an IRA, but I want to make the point to other listeners that a way to double your leverage, and it's not my recommendation, but a way that people have doubled their leverage is by using margin with the spiders.
Right.
Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks for the call. Good to hear from you. Scott is with us in Huntington Beach. Hello, Scott.
Bob, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
I have my wife to thank you for getting me involved with your show, and we're using you as a vehicle to put new money into the market by dollar cost averaging.
Excellent.
But we've been in the market for quite a while independently of that, and we've racked up some pretty nice gains in companies like Microsoft and Intel and Merck and GE.
What'd you pay for Microsoft?
Oh, probably about $12 to $15.
Wow, that's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. I would say, well, what percentage of your equity portfolio, your stock portfolio, all things that are stocks, including funds, what percentage of that would be in Microsoft?
About 1/8.
12%. Yeah, that's a big number. My suggestion on that right now is to cap that at 4%. I would be comfortable capping that at 4% of a portfolio.
Paying taxes today.
Well, they're only 20% on a long-term holding. Yeah, you never. I don't think you're ever going to get them lower than that.
You don't think even we're relatively young. We're in our early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
That we couldn't sit on them. Volatility doesn't scare us. We sleep well at night.
Personal choice, Scott. If you're willing to, I mean, obviously, if you're willing to blow the money, if you're saying, hey, look, if it goes down, I don't care. That's a personal choice. Only you can answer that.
I'm only going back to what I paid for it.
Well, I don't think it's going back to 12, and I'm not bearish on the company. I have a hold on the company, but that's for 4%.
Okay.
Okay.
May I ask you one other question?
Sure.
My mother has a large position in closed-end mutual funds, which my father preferred and has left her with, as opposed to bond fund income.
Yeah.
Do you have a position on those type of funds? It's kind of hard to track how they do.
I think you have to take it closed end by closed end. I think you have to do a fund by fund analysis to determine whether they're worth staying with. Also, in her case, she may have tax considerations.
Not too bad. Most of it's within a pretty good IRA.
Oh, well, if it's in an IRA, she wouldn't even have tax considerations. I would say, in that case, I would do a fund-by-fund analysis in order to determine whether they merit retention or whether some change would be made. Now, that would be especially true in view of the fact that she doesn't have any taxes due on that IRA. Dorothy is with us, checking in from Torrance, California. Hello, Dorothy.
Hi, Bob.
Hiya.
I've got a lot of money in the Asian fund. It's in an IRA, and
I'm sorry to hear that. Certainly sorry to hear that. Are you aware we issued a sell signal on Asia on July 11th, 1997?
I wasn't even listening to your program.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I heard it later.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we did. We had a 10% holding in New Asia at the time. We were discouraged about the performance that had been going on in the Asian theater. We thought that as a result of the underperformance that had been going on in the Asian theater at that time, that the best course of action was to take that money and diversify it internationally and take it out of the Asian theater, which we did at that time. And the effective date for that sell signal on Asia was July 11th. Now, subsequent to that, and certainly we don't have a crystal ball, we can't predict how severe a decline might be, but as it turned out, subsequent to that, Asia melted down.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And so...
well, I started into this fund at 40, it was an IRA, and it was $42,000
yeah.
on December 96. Then by August, well, in July of 97, it was up to 53,000.
Yeah, that's when we issued our sell signal.
Yeah, well, I didn't hear it.
Okay. Well,
at the end of August, it was down to 42.
What is it now?
At this point, I think I've got...
Well, approximately.
37,000.
Yeah. Now, what percentage...
It went down to 40,000 in October.
Yeah. What percentage of your total stock market holdings does this represent?
Oh, I maybe a little less than half.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Again, the guideline we were using for Asia was only 10%. And the reason was to spread that risk around the world rather than focusing it in the one area. So that's perhaps one of the things that's been most costly is the heavy concentration of almost half of your money in the Asian market. That has been... Is there any reason how did that come about? How did you wind up having half your money in Asia?
I don't know. I just put the whole IRA in.
Oh, I see.
That's all I did, and I let an agency handle it.
Well, the good side, Dorothy, is that you have the benefit of learning from this experience. I would say that the big lesson here is diversification, and this is one of the things that's at the top of our our list in terms of important things to do, critical things to do, things that really cannot be violated is diversification. The problem with country market concentration like that, especially a volatile area like Asia, is that if anything goes wrong, the consequences can be huge.
Well, my question is, even though I've lost on it, say from 42 to 37 at this point, I don't know what it'll be Monday, but should I take it out and put it into the U.S. market?
Well, I would say this. You've only lost about 10% of your money over there despite your heavy concentration. Let me just share with you the equity asset allocation guidelines we're using right now. I'll leave it to you how to make the change because you know best and your risk tolerance. But the asset allocation guideline we're using right now is 75% U.S., 10% Europe, which has been great, 10% international growth, and 5% emerging markets. We continue to have nothing dedicated to the Asian market at this juncture. So you could take a look at that diversification. Then also with regard to U.S. money, although we're willing to buy our foreign investments at current prices, with regard to U.S. investments, we're dollar cost averaging at this time at 8,900 in the Dow. We're taking a dollar cost average approach. That means for new money into the U.S., we're taking it and dividing it over a 12-month period, assuming no change in our view, over a 12-month period in equal increments into the market at that point. Good luck to you, Dorothy. I'm sorry you called, and I'm sorriest that you were not able to listen to our program last summer when we issued our Asian sell, because we're really glad we did. I'm Bob Brinker. This is Money Talk.
Now, from our 24-hour news center, total team coverage of the top local stories. KXL News Radio 750. We're on it.
Interior Secretary Bruce Babbitt is signaling that he'll fight a court order to remove wolves from Yellowstone National Park. He got a standing ovation when he told the National Wildlife Foundation, quote, "No wolves will be removed from Yellowstone on my watch." Missing for more than a week, 4 Cuban baseball players and a coach who defected from Cuba have been found. Baseball agent Joe Cubas says the men were rescued today off a small Bahamian island by a fishing crew. He says they're in good condition. A Salem businessman who built one of the city's most successful real estate firms has died after an apparent accidental shooting. The body of 48-year-old Daniel Chandler was found yesterday near his car at a trap shooting center in Gervais. KXL News Time is 5:31. Time for a look at KXL traffic and weather together. Linda Evans has the story of the roads.
Yes, and thank you for making that correction because I never make mistakes. You know I like perfection. We're checking reports of an accident at 47th and Northeast Prescott, and crews are still working to remove an overturned dump truck. I-205 northbound about a half mile south of SR 500 in Vancouver. Traffic still very slow through this area. This check on traffic, a service of the Washington State Lottery. The lottery offers a number of different games to play and win. Choose from Lotto, Daily Keno, Quinto, the Daily Game, and various scratch games. Good luck, Washington. I'm Linda Evans. Now team coverage continues with a look at the KXL Weather Track forecast.
Unfortunately, the start of our spring break looks like a washout. Rain continued tonight, a low of 45. Periods of rain tomorrow with a high 60. Rain continuing Sunday night with a low of 45 and still rather cloudy on Monday with a couple of showers and a high of 60. In Eugene, light rain and 52. Salem, rain and 54. Portland and Vancouver, light rain and 52 degrees. With news on the hour, half hour, and when it breaks, I'm Barbara Voigt on your news, traffic, and weather station, KXL News Radio 750. We're on it.
Our country was built on honest ideals and values. That free people in a free country, through the spirit of the free enterprise system, could start a business. And that business will grow and prosper when honest, hardworking men and women work together to provide consistent quality products and services at an affordable price. Hello, I'm Mark Hemstreet, owner of Shiloh Inns. Shiloh is but one example that our American free enterprise system works, and works well. Shiloh offers clean, comfortable rooms and suites and great restaurants. Shiloh's dedicated employees have helped make Shiloh Inns the largest independent, privately owned and operated hospitality company in the western United States. We're proud of that, and proud that Shiloh Inns, like thousands of other businesses, has the freedom to participate in the American dream. For reservations, call 1-800-222-2244. Shiloh Inn's affordable excellence.
Well, the ghost of Richard Nixon lives in the White House. The president has decided that executive privilege might be a nice way to get his key aides from having to testify in the situation he faces. And so even though it does not have anything to do with foreign relations, it has nothing to do with official matters of state, certainly, well, looks like executive privilege could wind up back in the Supreme Court. Could be a real constitutional battle, which would serve the president very well because, remember, part of the core strategy here is delay, delay, delay. And that would delay the proceedings even further than they've already been delayed. And if the president can successfully delay for another couple of years, his term will be over anyway, and he will have won his battle. The Battle of Stonewall. Amazing, amazing. It goes on and on and on. Mary's with us in Missouri. Hello, Mary.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
I was just wondering, we have just recently sold some property, and we've got a little over $100,000, and we own 1,000 shares of Phonar Corporation, and we didn't know whether to buy some more of that, or we haven't ever had anything in an index fund. We don't completely understand it, and we were wondering what you would say for us to do with it. We've got it right now in a Schwab money market, which isn't making very much.
Now, Phonar is F-O-N-A-R, right?
Right.
Right. Now, Phonar at one time, I remember, was listed on the NASDAQ.
It still is.
It's still on the NASDAQ?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for some reason, I don't see it in my listings. I was trying to check the price for you here. Why don't I see it in my NASDAQ?
On the small cap.
Oh, it is? It's on the small cap. Now, they've been around for a while. I would have thought they would have been out of the small cap. Let's see, Phonar, 2.5.
Right.
What did you pay for it?
About 2.
Okay. How long have you owned it?
About a year.
Okay. I would say that, no, I would not buy additional shares of that stock. For diversification purposes, I would certainly buy no-load mutual funds. I'm perfectly comfortable with index funds, if that is your choice. Those are just funds that invest in the market. Those are just funds that invest in weightings and stocks that match the market indexes. Like if you hear the S&P 500, if you buy a fund that invests in the 500, then that's what they own. They own the S&P 500 of blue chip companies. Or if you buy a total market index in the U.S., that would be the Wilshire 5000.
Okay, that's what you have been recommending, and that's what we were thinking about, but we didn't know whether just to go to Schwab and just put all of them.
Well, now, Schwab has a different fund called the Schwab 1000, and I also think that the Schwab 1000 is a fund that you could consider. But what I would do, and with regard to putting the money in, if this is your choice, how old are you?
60.
Do you have any taxes due on this 100,000 sale?
Yes, we will have.
Well, you're going to have to reserve that.
Well, we've got an additional approximately $25,000 for that.
Yeah, the question is whether you should be putting all of your money in the stock market at this point, though.
Okay.
I think perhaps...
we don't have any cash other than just basically this $100,000.
Do you have any debts?
No.
Okay. I think what I would do is I might establish a 50-50 ratio between stocks and bonds. I might put the 50... Are you in a high tax bracket?
Well...
What is your annual income?
About $50,000.
I think I might put about $50,000 of this money into something like Ginnie Mae's, which are yielding close to 7% right now. I think I might put about $50,000 there. Okay. And I think I might take the balance of it and dollar cost average into the market. Now, that would mean that you would only be putting in, if you put this money in the U.S. market, you'd only be putting in, let's say, about, maybe $4,000 a month over a period of 12 months. Assuming no change in our market view, that would be an approach that I'd be comfortable with, where you would put the money in on a monthly basis, average it in over time, assuming no change in the market view. Meanwhile, you could take the Ginnie Mae portion, the fixed income portion, and put that to work. But I think that might be a way for you to get started. But before investing, I would encourage you to gather some information, do some reading, and do some learning. You can visit my homepage on the World Wide Web, Mary. Please do, at bobbrinker.com, www.bobbrinker.com. And there are links on the page which will help you to learn all you need to know, I think, about investing in mutual funds. Thank you, Mary. This is America's Money Program, Money Talk.
I am a recent college graduate and new student in the business school of hard knocks. I am begrudgingly beginning to admit that my parents may have actually known what they are talking about. I am an investor.
For as little as $50 a month, anyone can be an investor with Transamerica Premier Mutual Funds.
I am an adult, I suppose, though I am still more interested in Saturday morning cartoons than the evening news.
For a free prospectus on how you can invest for just $50 a month, call 1-800-89-ASK-US.
I look forward to my future, even if I have no idea what it holds in store. I guess that's why it excites me. I am an investor.
Transamerica Premier No-Load Mutual Funds. Be an investor. For a free prospectus with complete information including risks and expenses, call 1-800-89-ASK-US. Read the prospectus carefully before you invest. Transamerica Security Sales Corporation Distributor.
The new Ford Expeditions will take you just about anywhere. And if you've been shopping around for one, you've probably noticed that their prices range all over the place too. Hi, this is Mark Gilbert, and if you're after a Ford Expedition, you'll save a bundle right now at the Big Ford store, Vancouver Ford, because we've got them for just $23,995. Just $23,995 for a new 98 XLT Expedition. At Vancouver Ford, we've done our homework, and we think this is the lowest price you'll find anywhere. Vancouver Ford has the metro area's largest selection of new Fords to choose from, and there's never a sales tax to Oregon buyers. So if you live in Washington, stay home or it'll cost you money. And if you live in Portland, do cross over to the Big Ford store and save big. And if you see an Expedition around town without a Vancouver Ford frame on the license plate, they probably paid too much. New Ford XLT Expeditions, just $23,995. But only at the Big Ford store, Vancouver Ford. Corner of SR 500 and Andreessen. MSRP $28,625. Two available at this price. Bins posted at dealership.
We're talking to Fred of Doty's about the St. Patty's Day spring clearance sale that's currently underway at all three Doty's appliance locations. Fred, you've got some great reasons and the luck of the Irish to shop Doty's this month.
You betcha. It's Doty's spring clearance sale, and we're slashing prices on hundreds of home appliances. Save on all Aman appliances during this special sale.
How big are the savings, Fred?
They're terrific. Save on all Amana washers featuring stainless steel high-capacity tubs starting at $3.99 after $30 factory rebate, and save an additional $20 on Amana dryers when purchased with a washer.
Wow, and Doty's is offering a great financing plan.
That's right. During Doty's spring clearance sale, we're offering 6 months with no payments or interest until September 1998, and Doty's provides free delivery.
Where is Doty's located, Fred?
At Pacific Highway near 217 in Tigard, 110th and Southwest Canyon Road in Beaverton, and at A and State Street in downtown Lake Oswego.
Hurry in for great savings during Doty's St. Patty's spring clearance sale. You may never get a better bargain on appliances. Doty's Appliances.
We have Charles on the line in KGO Country, San Francisco, California. Hello, Charles.
How are you, Bob?
Fine, thank you.
Bob, I'm 37 years old. I've been listening to you for about 4 years, and I also get your market timer. We just, I believe, reached critical mass, and I wanted to thank you for that.
How much do you have?
Pretty close to $2 million.
That's outstanding. How old are you?
We're 37.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. You must have worked very hard.
It's been quite a time, but yeah, and we've got some good investments. Thanks to you and thanks to Market Timer.
Well, that's great.
I have actually my son has a question for you. We live in California, which, as you mentioned earlier, is the highest tax rate.
It has one of the highest tax rates, yes.
It has one of the highest.
Yeah.
My son is 2 years old, and he had to file a tax return last year.
Why?
Because he made too much off of his investments.
Incredible.
We give him $20,000 gift every year. And my question is, which state has a lower tax rate, and is also ideal for raising a family?
Well, there are 7 as to which state is ideal for raising a family.
Well, that's the son's portion of it.
Well, that's going to depend. That's going to depend on what activities you enjoy. Obviously, as you'll be able to tell from the states I give you, that those activities are going to cover a wide spectrum of activities, especially outdoors. The indoor activities you can do anywhere. The states that have 0 state income tax, that means they do not tax you on the money you earn from working, and they also do not tax you from the money that you earn from dividends and interest. There are 7 pure income tax-free states in the United States, and they are Alaska, Nevada, Washington, and Wyoming in the Western or Alaskan time zone. In the Central time zone, they are South Dakota and Texas. And in the Eastern time zone, 1 state only, which is Florida.
Florida. And Texas also, huh?
Yes, the great state of Texas has a 0 income tax rate on your earned income and a 0 income tax rate on your dividends and interest. Now, just for the record, there are 2 other states that are kind of hybrids, if you will, and they are New Hampshire and Tennessee. In New Hampshire and Tennessee, you pay 0 state income tax on your earnings. However, you are taxed on your dividends and interest.
I see. Do you have time for one more question?
Sure.
I don't know anything about this, and I never...
And by the way, you might want to think about how close you are to Nevada.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a lot of gambling over there.
Well, there's a lot of gambling over there, but if you drive around Lake Tahoe, you go through part of California.
North Shore Lake Tahoe is beautiful.
Yeah, it sure is. Incline Village is gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What about setting up overseas accounts? Is there any way to shelter money from estate taxes in that fashion?
I'll tell you what. I'm certainly not an expert on that subject, and I would have to recommend you market money. That's a stock market fund. That's an equity fund. So it was my view that the fund should be 100% in the market. Instead, they were well less than half in the market early this year, and I think they've remained heavily in cash through much of this explosive rally. And so I had no choice, even though I had been recommending the fund for a long time and it had a great long-term record. I had no choice early this year but to issue a sell signal on the fund.
Okay, if I do that, I was going to move the money into the total stock market index fund. Is that still going to be considered a sideways move, even though they have such a high percentage?
Well, I'll have to let you use your own judgment on that. That's a really an unanswerable question.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because basically, you've missed out on most of the 1998 stock market rally, and so you're going to have to decide whether you want to make a sideways move or whether you'd rather dollar cost average relative to your tolerance for risk.
Okay. Is the total stock market index still a good place to put the money, do you think?
I think the total stock market index has clearly demonstrated it's an outstanding fund. It's a truly great fund. It's a fund that I'm invested in. It was up 31% last year. It's leading the way with a big year again this year with a double-digit move. And I continue to say people are going to have a very, very difficult time over the long term beating that fund.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Brinker. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, and of course, the subject of the Brandywine Fund has come up frequently on the program this year. And the reason it's come up is because people were concerned about the fact that the fund had a very, very high cash position at a time when I had a buy signal on the market. If you remember back in mid-January when the spiders on the S&P 500 dipped down into the low 90s, around 91, 92, and when the Dow dipped down into the 7400s, we had an outright buy on the market. And of course, Brandywine Fund's been sitting around with all this cash, and it's really showed up in the performance. The Brandywine Fund, and again, I want to emphasize, we had a sell signal out on that fund early this year. We're out of that fund. But the Brandywine Fund, in 1998, so far this year, the total return on the fund is 2.5%. 2.5%. And that's what having all of that cash has produced in the form of total return. Meanwhile, those invested in the U.S. stock market through the total market are up 12.8%. 12.8. So the Brandywine Fund in 1998, in less than 3 months, has managed to underperform the total stock market index by over 10%. And so that's why I don't like cash. I'm Bob Brinker. This is Money Talk. Bill is on the line in Chicagoland. Hello, Bill. It is your turn.
Okay. Hello, Bob.
Hi, Bill.
Thanks for taking my call. Bob, I was wondering what's happening with REITs. I'm in Conan Sears.
I think they have been lagging. I think that they got ahead of themselves. I was surprised at that 21% return last year that your fund marked up. It was a little bit more than I expected. I expected the funds to do about 10% a year last year, and sure, they can do a little bit better, but heck, your fund was up 21.2 last year, and that was after going up 38, 11, 8, and 18 the prior 4 years. I think the funds got ahead of themselves, and I think what's happened is there's been some profit taking in here, some ratcheting down of expectations, but I do believe that the valuations in the real estate investment trust area have improved significantly. And so I do expect that they're going to do better from this level. In fact, I think that they could start to perform closer to the overall market from this point forward. So I would say that the outlook going forward is reasonably good. But remember, I only expect a total return from these things in the general area of 10%. I think a lot of people, and by the way, your fund is up over 80% over the last 3 years, so it's had a spectacular record. I do think, though, that they got ahead of themselves. They were vulnerable to some profit taking, and they certainly have extremely low correlation to the market. The correlation between the REITs and the total market is, it's minuscule. So you should not expect to see a corollary performance between the market and an REIT.
Hey, sweetheart, are you all right?
I haven't slept at all.
Oh.
Do we have any cough medicine?
Yeah, in the cabinet. But honey, wait. You know, you're taking some pretty heavy stuff already.
Well, you mean my blood pressure pills?
Yeah. Why don't you let me call the pharmacist and see if taking that cough medicine is safe?
A pharmacist at 2:30 in the morning?
Now that Painless is Rite Aid, you can talk to a pharmacist anytime. Just call 1-800-RITE-AID 24 hours a day. And remember, Rite Aid has the most 24-hour pharmacies in Oregon. So if the Rite Aid pharmacist recommends something you don't have, you can pick it up at a Rite Aid near you, even at 2:30 in the morning.
Thanks. I'll come pick it up right now. Well, honey, it's a good thing I called. I'll be back in half an hour. Why don't you go back to bed?
Switch to Rite Aid, the right choice for Oregon.
KXL, Portland, Vancouver, Salem. We're on it.
CBS News, I'm Lisa Meyer. In parts of North Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia, shock, horror, and grief over what nature has wrought. Killer twisters have claimed at least 13 lives. More than 120 people were injured in the high winds and flying debris. One of the towns hardest hit is Stoneville, North Carolina, near the Virginia border.
The scene here in downtown Stoneville is surreal. Stunned residents say it's like something out of the movie Twister. At the downtown intersection of Main and Henry Streets, the stoplights are dangling from overhead wires. Street signs are bent over to the ground. 2-foot-wide trees are split down the middle as if they were hit by a giant axe and wedge.
Newsman Jim Kursula on the scene. We go live now to Gainesville, Georgia, another place pummeled by the killer winds. Here's newsman Peter King.
Lisa, the sun is down. That means the end of a long day of cleaning up. Mark Scott was luckier than many.
The house is basically intact. I
just looks like the movie Twister. With debris strewn all over the place, the siding on his home an indication of just how strong the storm was.
That siding's so hard you can hardly drive a nail through it without drilling a pilot hole before you hammer a nail in. And there's wood stuck through it.
Scott's family is using a wood stove for heat and gas generator for electricity, refusing to give in. Live in
Warren Buffett, and you owned 100% of a subsidiary, of course you would own their earnings. They're your earnings because you own the company. But if your company then wanted to reinvest those earnings in future growth, that would be way better for you, because that way you're not taking a taxable dividend distribution.
Okay.
All right?
And why is that different than from a public company which reinvests some of its earnings? He was trying to make a distinction.
Well, the distinction is that he has a large position in a number of companies. One of the companies he has a large position is Travelers. Well, Travelers pays a dividend. Travelers pays a dividend. All right, he doesn't own all the Travelers. He doesn't even own a majority position in Travelers. He doesn't have a controlling interest in Travelers. He has a comparatively small holding. Even though it's a big holding by your standards, it's a and so he cannot dictate to the Travelers board what their dividend policy is. He can't even probably change in a material way over the short term the dividend policy, the long-standing dividend policy of a company like Travelers. So Travelers pays a dividend. Always has, pretty much, and probably always will. And as a shareholder in the company, he's going to have to take that dividend. And that dividend is taxable. That's the difference.
I see.
Okay?
Okay. Can I ask you one more?
Sure.
You've been saying, you've been bullish all along through this whole bull market, and a lot of the analysts have, gone back and forth and whatever. But people have been saying that Abby Joseph Cohen has been bullish for a long time. I'm wondering if you have an opinion on her rate.
I think she's been excellent.
Yeah?
Yes. I think she's one of the few. I think that for the most part, the analysts at the Wall Street brokerage firms who have bounced in and out of this market and missed a lot of this bull run, or have placed their equity positions too low, I think have missed a tremendous opportunity here in the 90s. It's not just the Wall Street analysts. There are a lot of people out there, whether they be in broadcasting financials, whether they be in Wall Street financials, wherever they may be. There are lots of people out there that have told you for years, stay out of this market, it's too high, the risk is too high, stay away from this market, don't listen to the bulls. These are the bad news bears that I think have cost investors billions of dollars.
Yes.
And where are they? Where are they? Instead of coming out, as they should come out, and saying to the people, I am sorry, I was wrong. Instead of that, they rationalize, they go into hiding. It's so sad. Almost like the president. Almost like the president. Hiding out in the White House, hiding out at Camp David, afraid to face the masses because, well, I think we know why.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Bye.
1-800-934-2221. This is Money Talk.
It's on now. It's only till March 31st. It's the semi-annual Toyota Factory Authorized Tent Event. It's thousands of Toyota cars, trucks, and sport utilities, all with 4.8 APR factory financing. That's 4.8 factory financing on 98 Corollas, 4.8 factory financing on all Camrys, 4.8 on all Tacoma trucks, plus 4.8 APR on 98 RAV4s and 4Runners. Just look for the big savings under the tents at each of your Portland Metro Toyota dealers. And hurry, the semi-annual factory authorized tent event ends on March 31st.
4.8 annual percentage rate financing through Toyota Motor Credit Corporation to qualified buyers does not apply to leases. Dealer participation may affect final price. 4.8% for 24 months with 24 monthly payments of $43.78 per 1,000 borrowed on all new 97-98 Toyotas. Or 4.8% for 48 months with 48 monthly payments of $22.94 per 1,000 borrowed on all new 97-98 Toyota Tacomas and T100s.
And it's extremely cost-efficient and extremely tax-efficient. So from a standpoint of if you could only own one fund in the United States, basically, in my opinion, that one is to die for.
Unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
SideQuest Technologies. Do you have any feelings on it? It's on the NASDAQ?
I don't follow that one, Frank. Should I be glad I don't?
I think so.
All right, I'll.
PeopleSoft.
Well, that's that. I don't follow it, but I am aware that has had a great record. But it's not a cheap stock.
I know that.
Okay.
I know that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank. 1-800-934-2221, our contact number on the program. Ed's on the line in New York. Hello, Ed.
Oh, thanks for taking my call.
What's up?
I'd like to get your advice and an opinion, too. About 6 years ago, I invested in some government security bonds through the bank down here. And actually, they haven't done anything. And I've had them 6 years, and I'm wondering if I should hold on to them, hoping that they'll...
What do you mean they haven't done anything?
Well, actually, I've lost... The price of what I purchased them at has gone down.
You're kidding me, of course.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Incredible. I mean, that is incredible. The Ginnie Mae fund out of Vanguard has a 30% total return in the last 3 years. I mean, that is an incredible story that you tell.
No,
incredible.
No. You see,
I don't understand it at all. I don't know why.
Well,
I hope you're getting some interest.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting interest on it, yeah.
Well, what kind of interest are you getting?
Well, it probably averages out to just about 5% over the 6-year period because it's starting out at 7.
Well, that sounds comical.
That's why I invested in it, because I was only going to get about 4.5 from the bank.
I hope these are not the dreaded collateralized mortgage obligations.
No. They're government securities, government B bonds.
Yeah. Well, what can I say, Ed? I certainly am glad I didn't recommend them, if that's what you mean. But no, I'm staying with the Ginnie Mae's as my favorite Treasury security.
Yeah. Okay, but what would be your opinion? Do you think I ought to pull that out and put it in something?
I think if I owned anything resembling a Treasury that had performed that miserably for so long, I think I'd be looking elsewhere.
Uh-huh. And where would you look?
I do like the Ginnie Mae's.
You like
very, very much, yeah.
Uh-huh. And would there be anything else? I mean, it isn't that large amount, it's $25,000.
I don't think you need. I don't think you need anything else unless you're in an extremely high tax bracket. Then you could consider.
No, I've been retired for 15 years.
I don't think.
Just trying to cover.
I don't think for an amount like that you would have to look for anything else. I'd be very comfortable with the Ginnie Mae.
The Ginnie Mae, is there no loads or how does?
Yeah, you can do the Vanguard Ginnie Mae. That's no load.
That's.
You take a look at
Vanguard it is?
Vanguard Ginnie Mae is no load, yes. You can take a look at that. Just something for you to take a look at and investigate.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Jack's on the line in Los Angeles. Hello, Jack.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
I enjoy your show a lot. And
thank you.
My situation is I have about $250,000, and we have about a third of it in the Vanguard Index 500 and a couple other funds, the Contra Fund at Fidelity. But we have about 2/3 in cash, and it doesn't feel too good to be in cash right now, earning 5.5 or 5.7 in CDs. And I'm wondering what you would recommend with that cash. I know you like the Vanguard Ginnie Mae fund, and how much of my cash would you suggest?
Well, what is your cash there for? Why do you have all this cash?
Well, we've just been very conservative.
Okay.
I invested in the stock market in '87, just before it crashed, and then again just before Kuwait was invaded. So I got burned twice, and it took a long time. A couple 3 years ago that we got back in, and
well, you know, Jack, if you had taken a dollar cost average methodical approach to investing, you would have done very, very well. That is a good example of why I'm glad you called, because people wonder, when should I go in the market? And we do issue buy points when they look exceptional, as they have on a number of times, but we generally tell people to dollar cost average unless there's a particular bargain present. And if you had dollar cost averaged over the last 10 years, you would have done exceptionally well, and you wouldn't have had that problem of, I threw it in all before this or that drop. So, I mean, that is certainly a point that I think a lot of investors can benefit from, and I appreciate you pointing out the value of that. In terms of fixed income investments right now, yes, I'm comfortable with the Ginnie Mae's. Obviously, I'd be sensitive to the tax liability, California having such a high state income tax on top of the federal. So part of this would depend on your tax bracket.
Well, my tax bracket varies from year to year. I'm in the entertainment business. I have good years and I've had bad years, so I never really know for sure.
So are you an actor?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not.
I was going to say you didn't sound like Jack Nicholson.
No.
Well, okay, I would say that, yeah, I would certainly consider something like that Ginnie Mae fund for a portion of it, especially if you think you're going to be in a low-income bracket, because the yield on that fund is approaching 7%, which is really attractive when you look at the fact that the 30-year Treasury bond right now is only yielding in the high fives, less than 6%, not much more than that money interest rate that you were talking about on your CDs. But, of course, again, we have the taxability question to consider. Well, that's it for this half hour. More to come. Stay with us right here on Money Talk.
Now, from our 24-hour news center, total team coverage of the top local stories. KXL News Radio 750. We're on it.
The University of Oregon has received a gift of $1 million from retired economics professor Raymond Mikesell. Mikesell taught at the school for 40 years and wants his donation to go for teaching and research on the economic aspects of environmental problems. Well, just because the Oscars are in Hollywood, you don't have to miss out on the party. The Oscars will be celebrated right here in Portland. KXL's Marie Dodds tells us the local party plans.
Monday night is Oscar Night 98. It's the third annual Academy Awards Bash, which benefits the Cascade AIDS Project.
And a lot of us just stepped forward and said, we want to do something important for Cascade AIDS Project, raise some important funds, but also have a wonderful night and enjoy ourselves. We don't want it always to be kind of the downside.
Coordinator Craig Hartzman says the former OMSI site will be transformed into a scene out of the future for Oscar Night 98. Tickets are $100, but that gets you food and wine from more than 20 of Portland's best restaurants. The event's expected to sell out again this year. You can get tickets at the Cascade AIDS Project at 223-5907. Marie Dodds, KXL News Radio 750.
KXL News Time is 4:31. Time for KXL traffic and weather together. Linda Evans is watching the roads.
Well, yeah, 2 earlier accidents on I-205 have been cleared, but traffic is still backed up on 205 southbound at Johnson Creek and 205 northbound just north of Stafford Road. Be patient. It'll get up to speed if you give it a chance. And don't cause any more accidents. In Vancouver, 205 northbound about a half mile south of SR 500 is backed up. Gravel spilled on the road after a dump truck overturned a little after noon today. Broadway Bridge reopens at 5. And lastly, a cardboard box is causing some hazardous conditions on the Glen Jackson Bridge southbound midspan in the center lane. Slow down and watch out for it. This check on traffic is a service of the Washington State Lottery. The lottery offers a number of different games to play and win. Choose from Lotto, Daily Keno, Quinto, the Daily Game, and various scratch games. Good luck, Washington. I'm Linda Evans. Now team coverage continues with a look at the KXL weather track forecast.
Rain tonight at a low of 45. It's 52 downtown at KXL News Radio 750. We're on it.
We're parked on the showroom floor here at Jim Fisher Volvo, comfortably seated in a beautiful new Volvo Cross Country. In the back seat, we have Jim Fisher's daughters,
Molly
and
Emily.
Buckled in the optional third seat, we have Jane Fisher's daughter,
Nanette.
You know, I was reading the other day that a lot of the people who are buying cross countries are trading in sports utility vehicles.
That's because of all-wheel drive. You can take one skiing or camping.
And don't they handle more like a touring sedan than like a truck?
I couldn't tell you. I don't have my license. You also don't have to jump so high to get into one. And Daddy says the cross country has more cargo space than a Blazer or Explorer. With much better fuel economy.
Meaning?
I don't know, but Molly says it's important.
So where can you find Oregon's largest selection of the new Volvo cross countries?
Right here at Jim Fisher Volvo.
Let's do the important stuff.
Jim Fisher Volvo in downtown Portland on West Burnside. You'll love the way we treat you.
Well, you always know spring is on the way when the Indy cars take to the asphalt at Phoenix International Raceway, as they are this weekend. That, of course, usually kicks off the Indianapolis racing circuit for the new season. And, well, I'll tell you what, old man Winter is getting extremely long in the tooth. I don't think he has a whole lot left, although he did pack a powerful punch in Colorado a couple of days ago, where up to 3 inches of snow fell. 18 inches of it fell in Boulder, Colorado, on the campus of the University of Colorado. 1-800-934-2221. Well, if you were to ask what is the most expensive brokerage stock on Wall Street? The answer would be Siebert Financial. Siebert Financial shares are traded on the NASDAQ. And this past week they rose, I hope you're sitting down, 19.5 points to 45 3/4. They've gone up from nine some time ago. This, of course, is the company that's headed by Muriel Mickey Siebert, the first female member of the New York Stock Exchange who joined in 1967. And she runs the discount brokerage house, Siebert Financial, involved in discount brokerage and also involved in municipal bond underwriting and other capital markets activities. And Barron's reports that Muriel Siebert said in a phone interview Friday there is no corporate development to account for the rise in the company's stock. And so looking at the details, one finds, as they do in Barron's, a tiny float. 5.25 million shares outstanding, but Muriel owns 5 million. That's right. So the public float on the stock is only a couple of 100,000 shares. Imagine 155,000 of those shares traded on Friday. Almost all of them. And, well, the valuation, sit down, please. I don't want you to topple over when you hear this. Siebert Financial is now trading at over 90 times earnings of 50 cents a share last year. Over 90 times trailing earnings. Book value is $2. It's almost 23 times book value. And has a market capitalization of about $240 million, or about 9 times sales, believe it or not. Stock has the highest price-earnings ratio of any brokerage firm in the universe. And I would have to say absolutely trading at over 90 times earnings. Absolutely amazing. The shares will soon split 4 for 1, and that will allow Siebert Financial to stay in compliance with the new NASDAQ rule, which requires the small cap listings to have a public float of at least 500,000 shares. However, as far as Muriel Mickey Siebert is concerned, she is an extremely wealthy individual. As a matter of fact, she may be one of the wealthiest women in the Big Apple tonight, because taking her 5 million shares, that comes out to about $228 million for Mickey Siebert. Now, how about that? That's a good day's work, for sure. $228 million. She could have almost bought the Dodgers. Bob's on the line in Chicagoland. Hello, Bob.
My question is I have a father who's a retired farmer, and he's been saving his money in a Keel. He has about $275,000 in there. Question is, would it be worthwhile to roll that over into an IRA, Roth IRA?
Well, I would say that's a very, very iffy question, because here's what happens. On a rollover into a Roth IRA, assuming you have an account that can be rolled over, you then trigger taxability of all of that money over the next 4 years, and taxes due.
And if his income would be below like $42,000, well, he'd be in the 15% bracket. Do you think that would be more worthwhile?
I don't know if you're going to get the 15% bracket with $42,000 in income. I don't think so.
What does your income have to be below, you know?
Well, yeah, I can check that number for you and look that number up for you and share it with you. But I can tell you right now that I don't think $42,000 is going to cut it for that particular amount.
Okay. Next question. You were on Nightly Business a while back. And
let me just go back to this, because looking up the answer, I would say that, is he filing a single return or a joint return?
Joint return.
He's filing a joint return? All right, I would say this, that on a joint return at $42,000 in income, I would say that he would be in the 28% marginal bracket. That would be my guess on that one. At $42,000 of income, joint return, I would look for that to be in the 28% marginal bracket. So I think he'd have to have income well below that to be looking at the 15. Even on a joint return, I think he'd have to be probably well into the 20s of income on that to get into that 15%. And again, I would sit down with a certified public accountant before doing anything into a Roth IRA, because triggering that tax, that could be a stiff tax bill to write. Thanks for the call. We must break. This is Money Talk.
The following is a paid commercial announcement for Bob Brinker's Market Timer. Have you ever wondered how you can make the most of your investment dollar? Would you like to know which no-load mutual funds best suit your needs? If your answer to either of these questions is yes, then you should subscribe to Bob Brinker's Market Timer. Market Timer provides you with up-to-date analysis of the stock market and interest rates, and provides specific no-load mutual fund advice. As a Market Timer subscriber, you'll receive detailed information on over 20 outstanding no-load funds, along with 3 model portfolios. Market Timer provides you with a disciplined strategy to help you achieve your investment objectives. Annual subscribers receive 12 monthly editions, which include regular updates on the Market Timer stock market timing model. And Market Timer will help you to understand what's really happening in today's ever-changing investment markets. For subscriber information, call 800-700-1030. That's 800-700-1030. 800-700-1030.
The new Ford Expeditions will take you just about anywhere. And if you've been shopping around for one, you've probably noticed that their prices range all over the place, too. Hi, this is Mark Gilbert. And if you're after a Ford Expedition, you'll save a bundle right now at the Big Ford store, Vancouver Ford, because we've got them for just $23,995. Just $23,995 for a new 98 XLT Expedition. At Vancouver Ford, we've done our homework, and we think this is the lowest price you'll find anywhere. Vancouver Ford has the metro area's largest selection of new Fords to choose from, and there's never a sales tax to Oregon buyers. So if you live in Washington, stay home, or it'll cost you money. And if you live in Portland, do cross over to the Big Ford store and save big. And if you see an Expedition around town without a Vancouver Ford frame on the license plate, they probably paid too much. New Ford XLT Expeditions, just $23,995. But only at the Big Ford store, Vancouver Ford. Corner of SR 500 and Andreessen. MSRP $28,625. 2 available at this price. Bins posted at dealership.
Apple's comeback is spectacular. Come be a part of the excitement on Tuesday, March 24th at Oregon's largest Macintosh technology show, the Macintosh Business Expo. This huge trade show features more than 50 of the industry's leading hardware and software companies demonstrating the newest Macintosh products. Apple's keynote speaker will inspire you with his vision for the next millennium. Thousands of dollars worth of merchandise will be given away, including an Apple Power Macintosh G3. Attend any of the more than 23 instructional seminars by Apple, Microsoft, Adobe, iOmega, and more. Get the latest information and the best deals. Hundreds of exciting show specials like deals on the new Office 98 are available only at this once-a-year event. Hear the latest about the internet, networking, desktop publishing, digital video, and more. Tickets at the door or at the computer store nearest you. The Macintosh Business Expo, Tuesday, March 24th at the Lloyd Center Doubletree Hotel in Portland. Keynote speaker 9 to 10 a.m. Expo floor open 10 to 5.
One of the things that we've talked about on the program is the importance of having a good earnings record or good earnings prospects in order to get your share price to participate in a market rally. One of the things we've pointed out on the program is that unless you have good earnings prospects, your share price could be in some trouble, even if the market does well. And, you know, that is really played out. Take a look at Compaq Computer. Now, Compaq Computer is a stock that has had some earnings difficulties that have come to light. As a matter of fact, the company management has indicated that in the first quarter, they're not going to make any money. So the stock has really been trashed by investors. Now, here's a stock that traded as high as almost $40 a share and within the last year, and yet the stock has just been trashed. The stock has had a huge decline off of that all-time high. The decline off of that all-time high is along the lines of 40%, believe it or not. And the stock got trashed again this week, down 2 1/8 to 23 1/4. And so, I mean, there's an example of what happens to a company that has earnings trouble. I mean, generally speaking, if you have an earnings problem and people are concerned about the future earnings prospects of your company, your stock can get pounced on, and that's what's happened to Compaq Computer. And look at Motorola. Motorola, of course, is a company that's had a real problem with earnings. As a matter of fact, earnings for Motorola are projected to decline in 1998 to about $2 a share or a little more from $2.29 last year. And here's a stock that's taken a huge hit off its 52-week high of 90. It's down to 54 and a fraction. So here's a stock that is down again about 40% from its high over the last year, despite the fact that the market has done so exceptionally well. And this, of course, is what specific stock risk is about, but especially in a company where there are earnings problems. By the way, Compact's earnings are projected to fall out of bed this year. They earned $1.35 last year. They're projected to have earnings decline this year to something along the lines of 87 cents. So from an earnings standpoint, the stock has really been trashed. Another stock that has been pounced on lately has, in a negative way, has been Intel. Now, here's another company where earnings are going down this year. No growth here. They're going down. The company earned $387 last year, but the latest estimate is for about $332 this year. And the stock has been pounced on. It's down about 25% off its all-time high. Stock was down this week despite the rally in the market to 75 3/4. So what we have looked at here has been a situation where earnings rule. And when you're in a stock where there are earnings disappointments and earnings concerns, even though the market may do extremely well, you have the potential in your stock to see that stock depreciate in value. Bill's on the line in Madison, Wisconsin. Hello, Bill.
Bob, my question is, are we going to have, I guess for lack of better words, a day of reckoning with this Asian problem? I know it's been good for us so far.
I think that the day of reckoning for Asia has already come. The day of reckoning for Asia came to those money managers who fell for the bear market trap.
Right.
Asia was a bear market trap. And if you fell for the bear market trap and went to cash, you lost.
I agree with you. I guess my question is so many of our products that go over there, for instance, I build houses, and we're having a building boom across the U.S., but our lumber prices are going down because Asia's not taking the lumber.
Well, that's a good thing for America because it keeps prices down.
Hey, it's a great thing. Okay, so you think...
You know, as I've pointed out before, that there are specific industries and specific businesses, and you may be one of them, Bill. If you have a direct line exporting a lot of product into that region, of course it's going to affect you. But the greater good, holding down inflation, holding down interest rates in the U.S., holding down energy prices also, the greater good is massive. It's huge compared to the narrow pain that is felt by the particular companies or industries that service that area.
Okay. Bob, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Good to hear from you. And obviously, if you're in one of those industries or one of those companies and you're feeling the pain of Asia, it's a big deal to you, and that's as it should be. But the greater good across the broad spectrum of America is that the Asian problem has been an engine for the U.S. stock market because it's held down interest rates and it's held down inflation. This is Money Talk.
Ask Mr. Beam.
We know those Beam central cleaning systems are expensive.
Not at all.
Now, just let me finish. We've been saving up to buy a Beam central vacuum since 1973.
Okay.
So far, we've saved $83,000. How much more do we need?
Well, a Beam central cleaning system only costs around $900, including installation.
Louie, we're rich.
Be the next caller. Find out more by calling Beam at 1-800-947-2326.
What happens when the Montgomery funds take 5 of their best equity managers and let them choose their top 10 stocks? It's called the Select 50 Fund, and it's a unique concept pioneered by Montgomery. Each manager chooses from different investment categories to create an array that truly represents the best of the best. For information and a prospectus, including expenses to read carefully before investing, call 800-572-FUND, and always invest wisely.
My name is John, and I have diabetes. I take insulin every day. I count on my blood glucose monitor. So when I heard that a monitor could give me clinical accuracy, I bought it. It's called Precision QID. With Precision QID, I'm finally confident with my readings. That's because it's clinically proven to eliminate many test errors. For the first time, my results aren't affected by common medications I take. I get readings in just 20 seconds. I can even use up to 2/3 less blood. Get Precision QID. It's for people like us who take insulin. Finally, you can have clinical accuracy in your everyday life.
Now, new and improved Precision QID uses even less blood.
And this week, at your neighborhood Albertsons Pharmacy, you can get a Precision QID blood glucose monitor kit free after manufacturer rebate and trade-in of your old monitor. Ask your Albertsons pharmacist for details. Albertsons Pharmacy cares about your health.
1948. In national news, Harry Truman beats the odds and wins a surprise victory over presidential challenger Thomas Dewey. And on the local scene, a new auto dealer opens his doors to a public eager to test drive Ford's newest post-war cars and trucks. That was 50 years ago, and as Give 'em Hell Harry's legend lives on, Doherty Ford in Forest Grove continues to draw crowds of satisfied customers. Welcome to Doherty Ford, where we're celebrating our 50th anniversary, all during 1998. That means a full year of low prices, deeper inventories, and better financing than ever before. It's Doherty Ford's anniversary, but you get the presents. Plus now there's Doherty Ford Fleet, the best way to do business on wheels. For innovative answers to your business fleet problems, call Ralph Applesetch or Tim Doherty at 357-3114. We're Doherty Ford. For 50 years, home of the big city deal with the small town feel. Just off Pacific Highway in downtown Forest Grove.
Hello, Portland. This is Charlotte East from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Hello, Portland. This is Ray Estrada from Arvada, Colorado.
Hello, Portland. This is Edith DeHammer from Waupaca, Wisconsin.
Hello, Portland. People from Toledo to Tucson, from St. Paul to St. Louis put their trust in us. American Family Insurance. That's because since 1927, we built a strong reputation for service. Now we're here in Portland.
We like American Family Insurance because they are always there for you.
They are very personable and they are authentically interested in my needs.
We did have a claim. The turnaround was incredible. I highly recommend American Family Insurance.
See the white or yellow pages and give us a call today for auto, home, business, and life insurance, as well as financial services. Portland, we promise to work as hard for your loyalty as we have for millions of other customers.
American Family Insurance.
All your protection under one roof.
We have Rick on the line in Hartford, Connecticut. Hello, Rick.
Hey, Bob. Thanks for taking my call. First of all, I want to tell you that just because UConn is a 10-point underdog tonight, they're going to beat North Carolina.
Well, I'll tell you what, you could be right, and I'll tell you why, because guess who was a 10-point underdog this afternoon?
I missed it.
The Utah Utes.
Oh, yeah.
And they annihilated and embarrassed the defending national champion Arizona Wildcats from Tempe, Arizona.
Yep.
It was a destruction derby.
Well, we have nothing to lose, so...
Yeah, you got that right.
I think we got the team. Two quick questions. First of all, concerning the new tables in Barron's about the earnings, next year's earnings.
Yeah.
And the stock that you mentioned exactly was, for instance, Motorola. If you look at the earnings this year, 203, next year's earnings projected to 299. Can you believe that? I mean, if you were to believe that, you'd think it was a raging buy.
Well, I think there are some disbelievers in Motorola, and I'll tell you why, because the stock has been such a dog.
Well, I'm talking about in general as far as those tables. Are those accurate enough?
Well, it's a company-by-company basis. I mean, each company has its own earnings story. Each company has its own product cycle, R&D effort, future roadmap. I mean, you really have, when you start talking earnings, you've got to go company by company.
Okay. The other question is, I'm not sure you can comment. There was an article in Barron's about a company, and I own some shares. There was some accounting misstatements.
Well, which stock?
The name of the article was Mickey Mouse Accounting.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I can answer your question, and I can answer it very specifically. Since I am an employee of the company, I have had a long-standing policy on the program of not making any comments whatsoever vis-a-vis the company's shares. I think it's a really good policy.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call very much. Lenny's with us in California. Hello, Lenny.
Thanks for taking the call.
Hi, Lenny.
There's a lot of bulls out there now. Isn't that a negative indicator?
Well, it always depends on the exact level of the bulls. And, of course, one of the ways to evaluate bullish sentiment is to take a look at the 4-week moving average of bullish sentiment. That is also a good way for you to not to just necessarily take a single number. Don't get me wrong, single numbers are interesting numbers, but I think that there's something to be said for taking a 4-week moving average of the bullish numbers. Which numbers are you referring to?
Well, I just, it's kind of funny that I say this, but I know you don't like Wall Street Week that's on Friday nights, but...
You say you don't like it?
I know you don't like it because of Rukeyser.
Whoa. Speak for yourself. I haven't said anything about Louis Rukeyser. But speak for yourself. You're saying you don't like it. If you don't like it, why don't you like it?
No, I like it. I'm sorry, you misunderstood me.
Oh, okay. You're saying that you like it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. Good for you. I'm glad you enjoy it.
But you know, like when they start to get all of the people bullish, it seems like a negative indicator to me.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's some interesting work out there with regard to if you're talking about the index on that program, there's some interesting analytical work out there relative to that index and what the market has done following certain readings in that index. But you know, I'll leave it to you to check on the analysis on that. The guideline that I like to use for sentiment is that of the Investor Intelligence Survey of Market Bulls and Bears out of New Rochelle, New York. I'm in that survey. I'm surveyed as part of the investment newsletters that they survey, or investment advisories that they survey. And that, I think, is from my point of view, that's one of the finest surveys in terms of what's going on out there. Now, taking the current 1-week reading on that survey, about 63.5% of advisors are bullish, which is a neutral reading. And for me, that particular survey would not even get into the bearish zone until it got up over 70%. So with a neutral reading at 63.5%, I would not be losing sleep over that particular indicator. Also, it's interesting that over the last couple of weeks, there's been almost no change. That index has been in the 63 to 64.5%. That's bulls as a percentage of bulls plus bears over that time. So I don't think there's any reason, based on what I'm looking at out of the Investors Intelligence Survey, which I think is the best in the business, for investors to become overly concerned about the current sentiment reading in the market. I'm Bob Brinker, and this is Money Talk. Of course, you're welcome to join us on the program. We come your way each and every weekend talking about your personal financial future. Louise is with us in Sacramento. Hello, Louise.
Hello.
Hi, Louise. Thanks for holding on.
Hi, yes. Yes, Bob, we have some income-producing property that we probably have about $2.5 million in equity, and we have the nice position of it being free and clear. The bad part is that we don't have any debt service, so consequently there are very little tax deductions.
No, that's not the bad part. That's the good part, because because you wind up, in most cases, you wind up paying most of the interest anyway.
Well, what we were in...
Very few people can deduct, get 100% tax credit on the interest. For the most part, you're going to wind up paying most of the interest. So you're better off not having any loans.
Well,
loans are not a good thing. They're a bad thing.
Well, in talking with our accountant, she seems to think that we need to be more diversified, that all of our net worth is in real estate,
Okay, well, but that's a separate question. That has nothing to do with. I mean, the issue of diversification is totally separate from what we were talking about, which is the issue of leverage.
Well,
loans are a bad thing, not a good thing.
Well, let me carry this a little further and then see what you think. If we were to get a loan, and in talking, it sounds like we could get a loan, say, and pull about $1.5 million.